Hello and welcome back to the channel. I think I've just laid on my cake. Oh, that makes a nice breakfast. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Anyway, shouldn't be eating that on camera, that's rude. You having a decent Swiss roll, go to Lidl's. Beautiful. Welcome to my review. Sorry I didn't get out yesterday. Didn't do it yesterday. I'm feeling like shit. I've had a cold, now I get bronchitis. Joys of having terminal bronchitis, which is always there. It's dormant, and then you get a cold, and then it turns up again. So if I start coughing and choking in any of the videos, so I'm doing Impact Wrestling later on today for next week. So if I start choking and dying in that video, you know why. But before I do that, I've got WOS Wrestling to review. Then I've got to watch All In, and then review that. Because I thought All In was tonight, for some reason. So, WOS Wrestling, if you don't know, is on ITV. It's a little bit earlier of a time of 4:30 this week. Because of the X Factor's back. Yay. I've got to watch it because Liam Thompson's in it. Yay. Robbie Williams is in it. Yay. My fiance likes those two. So I've got to watch it. Yay. Can you see my excitement here? The best thing on telly at the moment is Celebs on the Farm. If you want me to review that, I will. That's brilliant. Anyway, so the show always opens up. You have a recap of what happened last week, and you also get what's on tonight's show. At that point, I enjoyed a smiley face because my fiance started talking, so I paused the show because I couldn't watch it. I have a rule in this house: if I'm watching wrestling, if I'm watching wrestling at this point, you don't talk, you don't speak, you don't do nothing. I like to watch my wrestling in peace. So I'm trying to do this morning, but the cats are going to be a horror. So we now open up the NAS desk. You've got Alex Shane, Soko Val, and Stu Bennett. Also, World of Sport's going on tour in January. So if you want to see it live, there is posters going around on Facebook. They're going to Northampton, London, York Hall, Blackpool Grand Ballroom, Bournemouth Centre, all sorts of places. I don't know, that to me means they're going to do another series. Because if they now announce that there's going to be tour dates, then there's definitely going to be another series, which is good for us. So yeah, we open up the night with a brilliant match. Davey Boy versus Rampage with Shaw Sams and CJ Banks at ringside. Now, one problem I had with this show is it wasn't made very clear till the end of the match that this was for the title. The only nag, I've got a couple of nags for the show tonight, but we'll get to that. So, Davey Boy is very, he's good. He's a good mat wrestler. You know, he does a lot of great mat wrestlings. He has great control of the match throughout. For the first cause thing, but it's very, very heelish, and you can tell this is a more towards the family sort of oriented wrestling, because you're going to the old-fashioned sort of heels. You know, Rampage distracting the ref and Shaw and CJ Banks are getting involved. It's that sort of thing. Davey, throughout the match, you've got Rampage attacking one of his knees. Davey is selling that knee every time. I'm sorry if this is bouncing. My computer's up here as well, so what I do is I film it on my phone, put it onto the computer, edit it through Shortcut, make sure it all works, and upload it via my thing. Because sometimes these get to super long videos and they can't be uploaded from the phone. But no, I also haven't got a decent camera on my computer because it's a laptop. So yeah, you're gonna get things like that because I don't edit them out. So oh god, what the frick's this down here? Anyway, can that go, please? There you go, thank you. Can you signify on my face? I don't know, some weird thing with a sun. I've totally fucked this up, haven't I? Anyway, if that's on... So, I'm going to ignore that, and I'll fix that later. Still there. So yes, and then there's a point where Shaw's trying to interfere, and David just stomps on his hand. Brilliant moment. And of course, that distracts him. Then he grabs hold of him, hits an implanted DDT. This is a very rough idea what will happen in the match, and Rampage wins. It's 4.5 stars, 5 stars. You know, none of the matches on WOS Sport at the moment are getting 5 stars because, you know, that match would have been 5 stars. But once again, Rampage and his heel boys win. You know, Stu Bennett's the heel manager. Blah, blah, blah. So that's a 4.5 stars. After the match, it looks like they're going to attack Davey Boy, and then Justin Sizem comes out. Good old Justin Sizem. Comes out. He then, you know, he comes out and he's standing there and they look like they're going to brawl. And Stu gets on the mic and goes, no, I don't like people sticking in your nose in business. I don't like the fact you're sticking your nose into other people's business, and also because this is World of Sport, you're sticking your nose into my business. That's his cope, and so he goes. So tonight you're going to be in the main event. You're going to be in a handicap match against CJ Banks and Shah Samuels, and if you win that match, you'll get a championship title match. Then we have Hendry versus. Then we have an ad break. It's a nice little commercial break, of course. ITV, we have commercials. We come back and we're going to have Martin Kirby versus Hendry, which is a rivalry that started in the first tag match between these two, where Kirby refused to tag Hendry and dropped off the apron and went to the back. With submission match. So, Grado and Hendry are the two biggest faces World of Sport have got, with Shah and Rampage being the smallest heels. The biggest heels they got. So Kirby comes out with his arm in a sling. Gets better. So he has a note and he makes there's also a very good point by Alex Shane on commentary. He goes, well, if his arm's in a sling, why is he in his wrestling gear? Thank you, Alex Shane, for making some good references here. So he comes out and he's got a thing and he goes, this is a comedy moment gold. This is brilliant how it's written. He comes out with this note and he gives it to an announcer and he goes, I think it's Phil Smawn. I went on Facebook. Thank you for adding me. And he goes, he tore his hamstring last night while styling his hair. And also he's got a strong case of sniffles, which could become the man flu, which is probably what I've got. Man flu's a real thing, by the way, ladies, if you're watching this. Not false. So then he tries to get away, and it's signed. So this note is signed by Martin Kirby's mum. I put brilliant. That was absolutely amazing. Instead of having it signed by a doctor or something, they've changed it entirely and had it signed by his mum. And I think things like that, this is why World of Sport I enjoy more. They have changed the way, they have changed so much different little bits of wrestling and made it. You've got your mat style, you've got your high flyers and all that lot, and we'll get into that in a bit. So there's a lot of back and forth. These two are awesome. Kirby is limb targeting the leg. He's limb targeting the back throughout the match. He's, concentrating on those areas. He knows he's injured those areas, so that's where he's concentrating. Just let me move some of these cuddly toys I've got on the bed. He's tying the back. There's a lot of things. So the one thing I liked is the ending of the match. There's not a lot happening throughout the match. It's basically, Kirby being the heel guy and Rampage, Joe Hendry's getting a few back and forths. I don't know why I said Rampage then. And it's really good. The one thing I like is the ending. Now, the first time Hendry gets the Hendry lock on, it gets broken with a rope break. So this time, Kirby goes for the Hendry lock, but he gets reversed into a Hendry lock by Hendry. And he gets to the ropes, he gets pulled back from the ropes, and Hendry just lays down and locks it in, proper tight. You can see the pain on his face. Ah! Don't know why I went, ah! Like that. And it was brilliant. Hendry is awesome. Hendry lock. And of course, the winner is Hendry. I give that a 4 stars, not a 4.5. One of the good as the first match. The first match was quite good. What happens after that? Is that the end of that page? Bye-bye. Don't go too far, I might need you later. Another ad break. I leave a massive gap in case there's an interview or something, and there wasn't. Because then I put down the next match. The next match is the tag team finals. Kip Sabian and Eston Reese versus Adam Maxdef and Nathan Cruz. I have got this down, I'm just going to check as... moment. This is the moment. So this has got my moment of the night in, and also is my match of the night. No female wrestlers tonight because there's none. So I don't know if there's. I don't think there is any female wrestling matches on All In, but we'll see. So I'm going to watch both the pre-show and the full show and review both. So you're not going to get a half-arsed review. Oh no. So we look back at this. We have a look back last week how the teams got to the finals. And this is the one thing I noticed is. It was heel versus heel. Kip Sabian, Eston Reeve, and Adam Maxdef and Nathan Cruz have been both heels. But with what Adam Maxdef did last week, and I know it was mentioned on the Wrestling Talk review of this, it's kind of turned Nathan Cruz and Adam Maxdef into a face team. Or more, Adam Maxdef is now a face. So we looked back last week, it's heel versus heel. It's mentioned on commentary, which I think was amazing by... And I'll say this, Alex Shane is brilliant on commentary. He is a really good commentator. He mentions little things like, why is he wearing his wrestling gear? He mentions little things that you wouldn't normally hear on a WWE show or on an NXT show, even though Morano does it sometimes, but he's probably not allowed to. But Alex Shane has been given this free reign, and I love the fact that the general manager is on the ringside. So you just pick a mic and go, hello. If you got a problem, come up here, silly animal. You know where I am. So, yeah. No, the only gripe I've got about WOS Wrestling, and I'm sorry, I've got a few gripes. There's a cat coming. There is no proper tag team names. It's Adam Maxted and Nathan Cruz. It's Kip Sabian, Eston Reeve. It's BT Gunn and whoever I can't remember the other guy is. But you see, my point is, they haven't got any proper tag team names. We'll get to my other gripe later. So yeah, the Cruzes, Cruz and Maxted are great together as a team, which is sad. What happens after the match? Sabian and Kip Sabian and Eston Reeve are brilliant as a team as well. One of the best things is Sabian, as they're trying to get a tag, Sabian kicks Cruz off the apron. It's a very fast-paced match to start off. But there's certain moves throughout the night. I don't know if it's because it was an earlier time at this point, but there's certain things they were doing throughout the night where the camera just suddenly cut to the crowd. And I swear it was in one of my... See, I need the other paper. There is a moment, I think it was in the first match, Davey Boy vs Rampage. They're doing a 1, 2, 3 count, and the camera's looking at the crowd, which is not right. I just worked out the same words. Great. The other thing I love about Royal Sport is they don't, unlike WWE, they don't stop the match. So the match is going. You don't go to an ad break, which I think is brilliant. There's a massive Reese staying his partner. Maxted and that turn to faces. Reese saves his partner. Same kicks out on a huge moment. Surprise tags. Maxted springboarding. Adam Maxted is doing springboards, or was it Eston Reese? One of the two was springboarding, and I thought that was brilliant for their size. Really good. I think it was actually Reese who was springboarding. And then there's a sort of doomsday device, what they do, by Reese on Kip, and that causes the 1, 2, 3, and your first ever World Sport Tag Team Champions and new ones are, of course, Eston Reese, Kip Sabian. Now, Kip Sabian is a wrestler I know a lot of. If you don't know a lot about Kip Sabian, he was trained by Saraya, Ricky, I don't know if it's right, Rory and Zach. He was trained by WAW, basically. I have seen him wrestle live in North Walsham, in Cromer, a few other places, mainly North Walsham, where I've seen him wrestle live. The other one who's on the show who I've seen wrestle live a load of times is Brad Slayer. I'm a huge fan of Brad Slayer. In fact, I went to a free show in Alsham and I was the only one cheering for Brad Slayer. So that shows you how much of a Brad Slayer I am. I love Brad. There's loads of boos. Cruz and Maxted then hug after the match, and then Cruz attacks Maxted, and then he hits a long blower. He has his feet on the top rope, and he hits a long blower off the top rope to Maxted. We have an ad break. Then Charles Simon stood there going, "Don't try this at home, you mugs." Haha. I don't know why I went ha. And then we have a recap of what Maxted did. And then it's our time for our main event. Justin Seisman versus CJ Banks and Charles Samuels. The one thing I found hilarious about this is they show a shot of a guy in an East, it says East on his t-shirt, booing Charles Samuels. Well done, World of Sport. Don't tell the fans who to cheer and boo, guys. Let the fans do it yourself. Hence why I never have heels and faces on my games. Also, it makes it easier for storylines. But one company might end up with heels and faces at some point in their future if I can restart that series. I don't know if I am yet, but that might be 1995. I might get to the WrestleMania and end that series and then change it, go back in time and start again. Seisman is great for his size. Some of the stuff he does, he's getting beaten down quite a bit. He is the, good guy getting beaten down. Every now and then he fights back and the guy goes, hey, and then he gets beaten down again. But CJ Banks and Shah getting loads and loads of boos. They really are booing Shah Samuels and CJ Banks and Rampage. They are the biggest heel group we've got going. Justin Seisman, Grado and Joe Hendry are the biggest faces. So if I was Stu Bennett or World of Sport, which I know it's already been taped because it was taped in July in Norwich, I would do a 6-man tag with the biggest faces: Grado, Justin Sizem, and David Boy, or Joe Hendry. So you got more. They're probably the best to pick with these guys, and that would culminate. But if Grado doesn't get the title back at the end of the series, I don't know what they're doing with Grado because he didn't appear on this show. He's fighting back. Longbar, blah, blah, blah. And then Rampage comes to ringside. And Rampage is distracting everybody. And then all of a sudden you see him outside the ring. And you see Justin Sizem get out of the ring. And he's getting counted. And you think, oh no, it's going to be a count-out victory. But he realises, turns around. CJ Banks is on the ring apron on the floor kneeling. But he spears Shah Samuels through the middle rope. Now, he did this move last week, which didn't look very good last week. But this week, he looked fucking better than last week. I'm surprised he can do it. I don't know why I've put... Yeah. So, yeah, the winner is Justin Sizem after a spear and a 450 splash through the middle rope. 4.5 stars for this match. Another 4.5 star match. Great way of telling the story, having Rampage come out. Fans that story. When will he get his title match? I don't know if he will. Shah did say, but there was a huge maybe in there at the start of the show. So I'm doing pros and cons because I wanted to add a bit more to my reviews, even though this has already been 16 minutes. Jeez. So my pros are so it's great. What the frick did I say last night? I was half asleep when I wrote this because I've been to a christening. And I wrote this, and then I had to go to an outpatient walking centre in Norwich with my fiance. So New Champions was a definite pro. The other thing is great storytelling. The storytelling in this company is this company's in its own universe. It's not, I know, Robbie X is Robbie, somebody out, I can't remember his other name. This is its own little entity and it's its own little universe. It doesn't connect with Progress. It doesn't connect with PCW. It doesn't connect with ICW. It's not based off them. It's its own little world and it is its own little universe, so I say, which is amazing. My con for this show, and I only have one con, and it's a useless con because he's on next week's show, is no creator this week. I know that I should be going, boo, creator. I don't want to boo creator because creator is an amazing guy. Creator is this big man that I love. So overall, 4 stars. Next week we've got a ladder match where loser leaves WOS Wrestling between Nathan Cruz and Adam Maxted. Yeah, Maxted. Grado's back and Grado's in action against Robbie X, Justin Gabriel. Not Justin Gabriel. That's WWE guy. Gabriel Kidd. And the other guy, I can't remember his name. I think it's Brad Slow, it might be wrong. But there's 3 of them going up against Creator, so that's going to be all exciting. So I will give you a review of that next week. But this was a 4-star review. Another great show from Motorsport. This was episode 6, I do believe. So we got 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's only 4 episodes left. So I'm hoping we're gonna start seeing some of these storylines end. And hopefully that fight, depending on what... I think this show's done really well for ITV. And I think, with Triple H coming into the territory now as with NXT UK, you got Progress, you got ICW, you've got all these other independent companies. As I say, I'm doing a series on with some of them, which might result in me adding another British company who's got heels and faces into my British one and having 6 companies on there. Because I want to do heel and faces. I can see that this is not going to end very soon. People are watching it. There is people who are dissing it and hating it, and I say there has got some problems. And those problems can be rectified in the next series, if not on the tours and stuff. I think anybody who's dissing this is too much of a hardcore UK British fan. I know that I can't mention WAW or World of Sport on the WAW fan page because it caused some problems when they went to Norwich without telling people. There were certain people who worked for Ricky Knight who hadn't told him and they know for months, and it caused a lot of hoo-ha in that in Norwich, basically. To the point where Ricky Knight nearly quit. And I did say I was going to boycott World of Sport, but to me, I think it's great to have British wrestling back on TV in a primetime spot on a Saturday. We need this. You know, there's people like Doug Williams, Shah Samuels, Rampage, Davey Boy, Will Ospreay, Zack Sabre Jr., which I hope will turn up in one of the two soon, because I don't think he's ever been on either NXT or he wasn't at the UK tapings, he wasn't at the World Sport tapings, and he wasn't in the NXT UK tapings. I can see because I've read the results, but we'll forget the results because I'm a useless idiot and I do forget things what I read. But the thing is, having this coverage now, look at the size of Progress, look at the size of ICW, look at the arenas they're selling out. British wrestling's back to what it was when we had Big Daddy, when we had Giant Haystacks. You know, those sort of people. I can't remember half of the names because I did write them down. Dave Boy Smith, Dynamite Kid, Doug Williams has been around since 1995. Doug Williams is one of those people that has built this company up. And you can see in my WWF 1995 series, I've brought Doug Williams in on his first year, and that is 1994, actually, the year I was born. So he's been around since 1994. He's a pro. He's only appeared once. Will Ospreay's appeared twice. He's like a special attraction sort of thing. You know, he's not a part of the universe. He just comes in and every now and then does a big flippy flop match. But if my decision is correct, I think we might see Zack Sabre Jr. in World of Sport next season, if they do another season, which I think they will, because it's done quite well for itself. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been JJR. My overall rating for World of Sport on the, what was the date yesterday? The 1st of the 9th, 18, even though the christening paper said it was the 1st October. Well done, christening people. I will be in here. You know, great show. Great show for a family-friendly show. And great to see British wrestling back on TV again every week. So this is only going to be going on for 4 episodes because then it ends. What can I do? Hey, I'll find something else to review. I'm always watching wrestling. So, ladies and gentlemen, I've been JJR. I hope you've enjoyed my review of World of Sport. And we'll see you later on today. We've had 1995 WWF at 6 o'clock in the morning. Or just after. We've got this going out, hopefully, before anything else. You've got, I think it's local to global today. Get ready for that because that's going to explode over the next few episodes. We've got the local to global going out. And you've also got... You also have the all-in review as well. So I want to thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. 22 minutes of me talking to you. Not fun. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you again. Whether it be TWE, a wrestling review. But I'll always be here with you. Thanks for watching.